5, I think it is. Is that how much a Baneling does? Oh gosh dang it, he has all of his Banelings loaded in Overlords. Anyways, it takes about probably 9-ish Banelings to kill Stalkers, and I mean, their area of effect is surprisingly large, so it really does do short work of them. Sentries, even less, and they're also considered light, so Banelings really just kind of destroy a Protoss's gateway compositioned army, while Roaches just sit underneath and tank all of the damage. Protosses should be scared of this push. I think it's one of those newer playstyles that if incorporated into a build, it's kind of going to be hard for them to deal with. I think I did miss a Baneling drop here. I apologize for that. I know you guys like to see him. In fact, I think I definitely did. There is no way that a whole bunch of pros would have 5 HP without that. I will watch those from now on. Here's another Baneling drop, but it is actually being deterred. So I am having unlucky casting because every time I try to find one, I actually miss it. He will probably be trying to send this Overlord over here next time there's a skirmish or something like that. And you can see, here comes another one. I think he's just trying to fake a Baneling drop. Yeah, see? He's just making Huck get a little bit antsy, pull his probes off of the line for as long as he possibly can. Huck's just sitting here with an observer, not doing much, really, just kind of content to macro up. And I think Zerg wants to beat the Protoss player to 200 and push out when he does in fact have that. Just so you guys know, I am in fact casting outside of my house as to not wake up my roommates, and it is raining pretty hard out here. And I think I just did hear a coyote because we do live next to a green space. Just a little bit sketch, a little bit scary, but what are you going to do? I am willing to risk my life and probably my limbs, because that is what coyotes would attack first for you guys. So at the very least you can do is hit the subscribe button, considering I am willing to risk my entire hand, and at worst case you are willing to risk carpal tunnel in your finger to click that single button to subscribe. You can see actually not much happening. Zerg's just content on macroing up. Protoss is content on macroing up as well. He's just, oh, Huck. Okay, never mind. Huck is doing good. Thought he had four probes on the assembler, and I was gonna be like, that's not 50 Grandmaster Huck. And for those of you who actually do not know, Huck in Korean is kind of an exclamation of surprise. So if you ever have read the, what's it called, the Arnie comic, where Arnie was saying Huck, 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 Huck. He's actually like saying like, oh, you know, I'm so surprised. And I think that that kind of name is befitting Huck, because he is the kind of player who comes out, doesn't really cheese, but just comes out with new and innovative builds that really just kind of surprise people, and people don't really expect it, and they do extremely well, and people kind of just tag on to those builds. You can see, here comes the Baneling drop. A whole one Baneling doing a whole lot of nothing. Opting to actually get Colossus here, that's a good choice, considering that the Zerg army is primarily Zergling Roach tech, and here he is maxed with a... Am I allowed to say the S word on YouTube? I don't want to say the S word, obviously you know what I'm talking about, but I don't know if I'm allowed to say it without maybe like getting my channel banned, and that would kind of blow if my channel did in fact get banned for a single bad word. Why don't you guys leave it below in the comments and let me know if I can in fact actually cuss. And if I do cuss, it's not like I'll be dropping the F-bomb every second, but you know, maybe 1 or 2 a game, just because it is an easy way to show surprise without waking up everyone in my entire neighborhood. Colossus, numbers are getting kind of high. Stalker numbers still staying at a pretty steady rate, and this is going to be kind of dangerous for Huck. He is known for his blink micro, but I don't know. These Zerglings may have picked off a good number of Stalkers there if they had actually pushed in. You can see really just sacking the Zerglings. Okay, that's what he's doing. He's just simply sacking all of his Zerglings. I really like Huck's choice here actually to take this third as opposed to this third here, because if you take in this third, it's really prone to a Zergling counterattack when they move through here like so. And you can see, just as I said that, Zergling counterattack, here it is. Not so much as a counterattack as a normal attack. He might actually force the cancel on this Nexus. It's going to be really close. Looks like he will not, but he did do a good amount of damage to that Nexus. You can see, still just content with macroing off a 3 base. And as a Zerg player here, you really don't want to let Huck get to 200. It looks like it is a little bit late for that, though, because he is at 200, and Huck or the Zerg should really move out here. I mean, they both are at 200, 200. There's not really much they can do except for bank a whole bunch of money. I think they're really just waiting. Huck is kind of trying to spread out his stalkers for when the Broodlords come, building a whole bunch of hallucinated phoenixes. Building. Can you call it building, or is it hallucinating a whole bunch of hallucinated phoenix? And you can see here is where the Zerg player finally decides to move out. Charming is about to charm his way maybe to a victory that is really dependent upon his Baneling drops. If he can drop on top of the sentries, on top of the stalkers, before the sentries manage to get off too many force fields, the Broodlords will just pick apart. I actually really like this Zerg's unit composition. I think I may steal this general unit composition late game, even getting 3 Hydras, just for a little bit of secret DPS. I mean, it's not very likely that Huck will focus them down. You can see these Broodlords here are just such a big deal. I mean, if Huck isn't careful, and here we go, here's the engagement, Roach is falling everywhere, the Overlords are moving in, here we go, here comes the Baneling drops, oh, and the Baneling drops are ineffective because he blinks on top of the Roaches, on top of the Broodlords. You can see more, but look at this, the entire Stalker army is just peeling away. There's really nothing underneath here. Costs are getting picked off by the Corruptors. You can see the Broodlords are trying desperately. Oh, that was really what he needed. He actually will be able to pick off a couple more Colossus before running back. And 45 Roaches means that he will basically have an entirely new army. This is where Zerg's macro is insane. He really did have a really ridiculously high number of units early. If he had pushed out a little bit earlier, maybe that attack would have been more effective. But who am I to say anything, because now Charming has 45 more Roaches on the field. And we'll see. I think good use by Huck to really abuse this, kind of slowly supply block Charming. And you can see actually instead he is just warping, using a warp gate. This is classic Huck-esque style. Late game, just might as well just do whatever harass you can. And the more harass you can do, the better you will be off, because the later and later the game goes, the more harass, the less likely an opposing player will actually deal with it. And Charming is actually saying, I will have none of your shenanigans, Huck. I will instead come in here and I will destroy your Nexus. Losing a lot of probes too, maybe, we'll see. And actually he's going to pick off this Nexus too, so he's taking down 2 Nexuses with 45 Roaches. Depends on how good his macro is. If he's really willing to lose all of these Roaches just for 2 Nexuses, then it will be a fair trade. It depends. He does have, okay, he has 4k, 2k in the bank. He has plenty of money to simply re-macro up an army. You can see Huck here is actually morphing Archons, and this is pre 1.3.3.3 patch, so the Archons do not have the added damage. And look at this, just getting DTs. DTs are literally the most annoying unit in the entire game. They do an insane amount of damage, 55 damage no matter what unit they're attacking. I mean, that's just, it's fair, it's a fair unit because they are so weak. It's just the most annoying unit, because if they can run out, get outside of detection range, there's really nothing you can do to deal with them except for wait for an Overseer, or wait for a Spore Crawler. And you can see, there's the Overseer. He really should just get that last DP. There we go. You can see Archons here. These Archons are just freaking animals. Like, they're like, who invited the animals to the party? Well, the Archons are here. Let's let the party start. The party of eating Roaches and Hydralisks for breakfast. And after that Baneling drop play, it looks like the Zerg player is in fact favoring a more Roach Hydralisk heavy build, which I think might have died a long time ago, but I guess it's coming back. I've been seeing it in a lot of games still, regardless of the fact that Spanishiwa has really been known for kind of changing that that late game Zerg play into more of a clever Niduswarm harass with Zerglings and Ultralisks, and kind of forcing the Protoss to split up his army and then slowly picking it off. Especially effective for Terran. Huck with his massive 200 APM actually forgets about these probes here. No big deal. You can see in the unit, or in the production tab, we just have probes being built. So Huck is willing to just take an even bigger lead in the worker count than he already has. And that is because the Zerg player is actually willing to sack these units, because he has so much, well actually not much in the bank anymore. But he is already maxed, so really all he wants to do is just make one big ball and push for that last time and really beat the Protoss player that way, but you can see that in the back of the base here, Huck is content with just sitting with this army, waiting for that push to come, and as soon as that push comes, I guarantee it, he will hit. Whatever this is on, I think it is on... Okay, I guess not. I thought he had these on a hotkey, but if he did, he would just hit that A, and then click over here somewhere, and just kill everything here. And actually, I'm going to keep an eye on that mini-map, but I will keep the screen on the army, because here comes the inevitable push. You can see that Huck is actually splitting up his units fairly well, and that is to try to deal with these Broodlords, Broodlings, because the Broodlings will have to shoot at one army or the other one, and if he uses an army, actually smartly hallucinating a whole bunch of Colossus, the Corruption will try to focus him down. Using a feedback on the Overseer, I like it, because that means that this army is going to be susceptible to DTs, and there it is, like I said, there's the 1A. And you can see that Charming smartly pulls all of his pros back, but we have the battle coming, and it looks like the Zerg player actually will end up winning that battle. He's probably going to push over here, take out this Nexus here, while at the same time taking out this Nexus, and it looks like Huck will lose this game. I don't really see Huck coming back from this one, unless he has the good old late game Protoss 45 Warp Gate, and look at that. There it is, 17 Warp Gates. So he can just warp in 17 Stalkers, and there it is. And if he can blink under these Broodlords, actually there are a lot of Hydralisks underneath these Broodlords, so this will not be very effective at all. Actually using Corruption on these Stalkers, which is a good ability. If you have Corruptors, might as well make them do something as opposed to being totally useless. Oh, the Protoss player storming the Broodlords. Storm actually does a surprisingly high amount of damage to Broodlords just because they're so slow. Look at this, one-shotting the Broodlords. I don't think Broodlords have any sort of armor upgrade at all. Should he just blink under it? I don't know if he's willing to sack it, but he did get 3 Broodlords in that engage. There's only 1 Broodlord left. That kind of ruined the advantage that the Zerg player did have. I don't know if he can hold off this push, though that is a lot of units. No, he definitely will not. And in the unit counting station, you can see that we now have 45 probes to 52 drones, so once again the Zerg player is in the lead. That's kind of what he was banking on, was for this push to really do damage, and it really did do effective. But you can see 2 DTs in the back just contend on slashing away at these Hydralisks. They 2-shot Hydralisks. If they were 3-3, I think they do 1-shot Hydralisks if they have no armor. But do not count me on that. And you can see the Zerg player really should be morphing into some sort of Overseer, because he's good. Look at this. 4 kills, 6 kills, 10 kills just on those 2 DTs. About to be a lot more. And there's the morph. But all that he has to do is get a couple of Blink Stalkers, blink under this, snipe this Overseer, and it will prove to be absolutely ineffective. But he's actually rallying in a lot more units. There's really nothing that the Protoss player can really do. And I think that that is all she wrote. And by she, I mean the StarCraft goddess. She was not in Huck's favor today, and the macro of the Zerg player late game did end up getting to him. As you can see, Huck has always kind of favored the DTs. This was kind of an earlier game before he started popularizing that DT rush, but you can see he actually does kind of favor DTs, and you can see why. They do insane amounts of damage, 55 damage a shot, something crazy like that, and that's just with 2. I think with 3 they do like 60 something. It's insane. Who even knows with these DTs, but they're insane units, and they really should be utilized by the Protoss more, because they are the most annoying unit in the game to deal with, I think. And this is Big Bear StarCraft, signing out.